Welcome back, everyone. Glad to see you back here to United Rocket. Don't forget to subscribe, like and comments. Let's get started. Roy Keane isn't happy with Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Roy Keane points finger at Sir Jim Ratcliffe in angry rant over Manchester United's £2 billion stadium. Manchester United have announced plans to build a new £2 billion stadium, leaving many, including Roy Keane, unimpressed given the extensive cost-cutting going on at the club. Roy Keane has stuck the knife into Sir Jim Ratcliffe following news of Manchester United's jaw-dropping £2 billion stadium plans. He accused the Ineos chief of hypocrisy, with the exorbitant project being announced amidst a backdrop of ruthless cost-cutting measures at the club, which have resulted in hundreds of redundancies. On one hand, they're getting rid of lots of people, and on the other, they're going to spend £2 billion on a stadium. He can still look after people a little bit better, Keane said on the latest episode of the Stick to Football podcast. He, Ratcliffe, is on about saving money at the club, and we know the way that a lot of ex-players have been treated, the fund they had available, the staff that have been at the club for years. On one hand, he's still treating them badly, and I understand it's a business, and you've got to try and make the right decisions. But the next day, they're building a £2 billion stadium for their fans around the world. You have to show loyalty to people that have been at the club for years. The stadium announcement came just 24 hours after Ratcliffe claimed United would have run out of cash by Christmas if it weren't for his cost-cutting measures. In an eye-opening interview with Keane's former teammate Gary Neville, the 72-year-old defended his financial prudency, including the controversial decisions to sack staff, cancel free lunches, and end the club's work-from-home culture. I recognise I'm unpopular at the moment, but I am prepared to be, and I can deal with being unpopular for a period of time because I believe that what we're doing is the right thing, he said. United's new stadium will seat 100,000 spectators, making it the biggest in the UK and the second biggest in Europe once Barcelona's Camp Nou renovations are completed. It will be built close to Old Trafford and could be operational within the next 5 years. The design features 3 masts described as the Trident, as well as a public plaza that, according to architects, will be twice the size of Trafalgar Square. Once completed, Old Trafford, United's home since 1910, is expected to be demolished. Ratcliffe criticisms aside, Keane, 53, admitted he liked the look of the stadium plans. When you look at the new stadium, the plans, it would be fantastic, wouldn't it? For the area, for the supporters. It looks special, he said. However, fan group The 1958, who staged a protest against the club's ownership on Sunday, weren't happy at all, insisting the plans failed to reflect the club's deep-rooted heritage, traditions, and connection to its supporters. In a statement, the group said, "The design resembles a generic, soulless corporate structure, more akin to a modern entertainment venue than a football cathedral. Its circus-like aesthetic disregards the club's working-class origins and the identity of a fan base that spans generations. Rather than honouring the past and strengthening the bond with the local community, it prioritises spectacle over substance, alienating those who have defined United's legacy for decades." There's no way back for this Manchester United team. Wayne Rooney launches brutal attack on flops and names only 2 he'd keep. United legend says between 10 and 15 players need to be moved on. Wayne Rooney has hit out at Man Utd and said there are only 2 players he would keep. The Red Devils have suffered a horror season under, first, Erik Ten Hag, and now Ruben Amorim. Wayne Rooney would like to see a huge Manchester United fire sale. Captain Bruno Fernandes is one of the few players Rooney would keep. Rooney would also like to see Kobbie Mainoo stay at Old Trafford. United are currently languishing in 14th place in the Premier League, with the Europa League now their only chance of making any kind of success out of the season, and Rooney said it hurts to see his former club in their current state. The former England captain was asked by fellow ex-Red Devil Gary Neville whether he thought there was any way back for the current Man Utd squad. And he told Stick to Football, brought to you by Sky Bet, "No, I don't think so. They look lost. They look scared. Bruno Fernandes is the one who keeps producing. He annoys you at times, but keeps producing. The former Derby, DC United, Birmingham and Plymouth boss, then a massive clear-out would be needed to get United performing again." Rooney commented, "They need massive changes to the squad. I think 10 to 15 players need to leave the club. Obviously they can't do that, but there is a mentality there where no one is taking responsibility in the squad. And when asked which players he would keep, Rooney said, "I'd only keep Bruno and Kobbie Mainoo. There is a culture at the club where it's too easy to lose games and the players come out and say, on to the next one and all that rubbish. Just show some character and fight on the pitch. It's bad watching. It hurts." Being from Liverpool but spending so many years at United, I want the team to do well. I've got my kids in the academy and it hurts watching them. £375,000 a week star Casemiro performed well in the 2022-23 season, but has struggled since. Rasmus Højlund is on a run of 16 Premier League games without scoring. Is Manchester United ready to spend £51 million on Ederson? As Casemiro's replacement, Manchester United has shown willingness to pay £51 million to acquire Atalanta's Ederson, who remains the main midfield target of manager Ruben Amorim. Manchester United has shown willingness to pay £51 million to acquire Atalanta's Ederson, who remains the main midfield target of manager Ruben Amorim. United looks for midfield additions to replace Casemiro because of his expensive £350,000 weekly salary, while also securing Christian Eriksen's future after his June expiration date. Various sources report Ederson as the preferred candidate because of his successful displays with Atalanta throughout his 2022 season. The ability to fill in as a 6, 8 and 10 gives Ederson standing as a suitable addition for United's developing team structure. Ederson's versatility makes him a key target for Manchester United. Calcio Mercato reports that United places Ederson at the top of their goalkeeper targets as the club is prepared to offer a £51 million transfer fee. Atlanta's top-flight success can be attributed to 25-year-old Brazilian player who started only one Serie A match this season. His functional versatility throughout the midfield positions enhances his attractiveness to United's rebuilding project. The club wants to replace Casemiro with Ederson because his capabilities correspond to the tactical plans of manager Amorim and meet United's search for a youth-oriented dynamic midfielder. Atalanta's strong stance. As Man United pursue Ederson, Ederson remains under contract with Atalanta until 2027, thus giving the Italian club substantial power in exchange negotiations. The Atalanta club understands growing interest in their top midfielder, but needs a substantial offer to release him. United invests in Ederson because it shows their dedication to building up their team after losing multiple important midfielders. Atalanta has shown determination to keep Ederson, but might reconsider his future in case United presents a £51 million bid. The upcoming transfer window will make United's attempt to acquire Ederson from Atalanta a matter of close observation. Amorim chasing wing-back Quenda, United eye-shot keeper, new stadium plans revealed. Manchester United are braced for a monumental summer transfer window, with Ruben Amorim expected to overhaul the squad with incomings players and exits. Amorim is expected to raid former club Sporting with strike sensation Viktor Gyökeres, a top target, and wing-back Giovanni Quenda also on his radar. Sunsport can also exclusively reveal that the Red Devils are keeping tabs on Blackburn Rovers goalkeeper Ainsley Pearce. Elsewhere, Manchester United have unveiled stunning plans to build a new £2 billion, 100,000 capacity stadium. Sir Jim Ratcliffe left with dilemma over Manchester United star Wayne Rooney wants to stay. Manchester United legend Wayne Rooney says Kobbie Mainoo is one of the few players at the club he would keep. However, the midfielder's long-term future is uncertain. Wayne Rooney says Kobbie Mainoo would be one of the only players he would retain from Manchester United's current squad. The Red Devils have endured a rotten 2024-25 campaign and are on course to record their lowest ever finish in the Premier League era, with Ruben Amorim's side currently 14th in the table. Amorim has predominantly worked with the squad he inherited back in November, but is expected to be backed in the transfer market this summer. It's likely a number of players will be on the move both in and out of Old Trafford ahead of next season, as the former Sporting Lisbon chief aims to get United back on the right track. Rooney, the club's all-time leading goalscorer, says Mainoo and Bruno Fernandes would be the only two players he'd keep right now. When Rooney was asked if there was any hope for the current United team, he said, "No, I don't think so. They look lost. They look scared. Bruno Fernandes is the one who keeps producing. He annoys you at times, but keeps producing. They need massive changes to the squad. I think 10 to 15 players need to leave the club. Obviously, they can't do that, but there is a mentality there where no one is taking responsibility in the squad. He continued, I'd keep Bruno and Kobbie Mainoo. There is a culture at the club where it's too easy to lose games and the players come out and say, on to the next one, and all that rubbish. Just show some character and fight on the pitch. It's bad watching, it hurts. Being from Liverpool but spending so many years at United, I want the team to do well. I've got my kids in the academy, and it hurts watching them. While Rooney thinks Mainoo should be kept on for the planned squad overhaul, keeping hold of the talented academy graduate could be difficult following recent reports that the classy midfielder is poised to reject a new contract offer from the club. Despite his breakthrough into the first team, Mainoo is said to be among the club's lowest earners, and talks over a new deal are yet to reach fruition, as per The Guardian. The club's bleak financial situation meant Sir Jim Ratcliffe and the Old Trafford hierarchy were open to serious bids for all players. And with Mainoo unlikely to be short of suitors if contract talks continue to drag on, then United would be vulnerable to bids. Ruben Amorim says he and Manchester United players underperforming after Sir Jim Ratcliffe comments on squad. Ruben Amorim has responded after Sir Jim Ratcliffe said this week that some Manchester United players were not good enough and probably overpaid. The Man Utd head coach also addressed his personal relationship with the club's co-owner. Ruben Amorim has acknowledged he and Manchester United's players are underperforming this season after Sir Jim Ratcliffe's criticism of the squad. Among a series of interviews on Monday, the Manchester United co-owner told the BBC, "Some players are not good enough and some probably are overpaid. But for us to mould the squad that we are fully responsible for and accountable for will take time." The comments came amid media reports that Manchester United will overhaul the squad this summer as they look to rebuild and challenge for trophies again. When asked about Ratcliffe's comments, Amorim admitted that there are issues to resolve across the board and said the team were determined to change opinions. Speaking ahead of Thursday's Europa League last 16 second leg tie against Real Sociedad, the Man Utd head coach said, "I think if we are being honest, everybody, me and the players, we are underperforming this season, so we can change that. You are talking about players like Casemiro, for example, who have won everything, and we know that these kind of players can play so much better." He, Ratcliffe, was honest on that. The focus is to change his mind and change all the people's minds. It's the right way to do it. Even people say I'm not good enough for this club, and my feeling is that you can change that with results. In training, I feel that they want this really bad, especially for tomorrow. Manchester United set for mass squad call this summer, with 8 stars set for Axe and practically all players for sale. There is also the possibility that Sancho could return to Old Trafford. Several Manchester United players are at risk of being axed this summer as co-owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe plots a complete rebuild. The British billionaire name-dropped 5 senior stars when giving a damning assessment on the state of Manchester United this week, admitting they are not good enough to represent the club. Sir Jim Ratcliffe is prepared to listen to offers for every Manchester United player. The Red Devils want to offload Casemiro, but the midfielder is determined to stay. Antony's future is still yet to be resolved. During an interview with the BBC, he said, "If you look at the players we are buying this summer that we didn't buy, we're buying Antony. We're buying Casemiro. We're buying Andre Onana. We're buying Rasmus Højlund. We're buying Jadon Sancho. These are all things from the past. Whether we like it or not, we've inherited those things and have to sort that out. For Sancho, who now plays for Chelsea, and we pay half his wages, we're paying £17 million to buy him in the summer." The only player that received any praise from the club chief was captain Bruno Fernandes. However, even he could be put up for sale at the end of the season. The Daily Mail has claimed that United will consider offers for practically every player when the transfer window opens. Christian Eriksen, Viktor Lindelof, Johnny Evans and Tom Heaton are all set to leave Old Trafford as free agents in June. But the Red Devils may find it hard to offload some players, especially without taking a huge loss. Casemiro, who cost United a whopping £70 million in 2022, is determined to see out the remainder of his contract, which expires at the end of the 2025 to 2026 campaign. The Brazilian is also the club's highest earner and pockets £375,000 a week. Meanwhile, £85.5 million man Antony has struggled at Old Trafford since completing his move from Ajax 3 years ago. With just 12 Manchester United goals to his name, the winger was loaned out to Real Betis in January and has since managed 6 goal contributions in 9 games. Ratcliffe and co will be hoping that his impressive La Liga form bumps up his value ahead of the summer window. Højlund is another player who has failed to match expectations following a big money move. While he showcased some positive glimpses in his debut campaign, the striker has not lived up to his £72 million price tag this term. The Mail has also reported that Sancho could return to Manchester United from Chelsea this summer, despite the Blues having an obligation to buy. Should Enzo Maresca decide against keeping the England forward, Chelsea will have to pay a significant penalty to withdraw from the agreement.